Hello everyone, it's Theme Park Avenue, I'm Eric. Welcome to Epic Universe Reviews, a series of videos reviewing each of the 11 rides of the all-new Universal's Epic Universe theme park at Universal Orlando Resort. In each video, I will talk through my experience on one of the rides, provide useful information about it, and give some final thoughts on how good the ride is. For the 7th video in this series, I am reviewing Yoshi's Adventure. Spoilers incoming. This is an omnimover dark ride in the Super Nintendo World area of the park. This is definitely one of the least talked about rides at Epic Universe, but I have seen mixed reviews. Some think it's a very simple but fun ride, even calling it the best ride in Nintendo World. Others call it the worst ride in the whole park. Which side am I on? Let's talk through the whole experience to see. First, the entrance experience. To get to this ride, you must enter Super Nintendo World. There are wheelchair accessible ways in, but the main path is an escalator designed to let us in a warp pipe like in the Mario games. Once you exit the pipe, you are on the upper level of the most beautiful land at the park, maybe any park, in my opinion. There's so much going on, and even though there's not much walking space, the land feels so grand. As you look out to the rest of the area, you can see Yoshis moving along the track across from you. You can also see the entrance directly in front of you but on the lower level. So that is where you go to board the ride. This ride's entrance also has a warp pipe design, and once you enter it, you are in a very lovely indoor queue. The queue is air conditioned, which many will appreciate on summer days, and it looks very nice. There are trees, presents, and props galore, including some interactive features if you purchase a power band for something like $40. I would never do that, but if you have young kids who want the band, they can use it to trigger responses from certain props and earn points or something like that. Even though this is an indoor queue, these sets are very elaborate and it really does feel like a forest. Another enjoyable element of the main queue is the music. Throughout the whole area, you can hear a playlist of Mario tracks, mostly from Yoshi's Island and other games with Yoshi if I'm not mistaken. I at least recognize the main Yoshi's Island theme, known as Flower Garden. That was my favorite track in this queue. I must note, this queue is not perfect. If the line is lengthy enough, you will be corralled into the extended outdoor queue. This area straight up sends you into the back lot. There is a nice mural painted on the one wall, but it doesn't hide the fact that there's clearly a garage in view. They also had 3 fake hedges set up at the back walkway, kind of obscuring a view of the outside world with hotels and all. If you like immersion, you will hate this part of the queue. However, I thought it was kinda cool to have a brief break from the Nintendo themed world, and remember how awesome it is that they fit so much stuff into a small area, surrounded by unthemed things. I also like the sort of sneak peek you get of Minecart Madness from this area. Anyway, there are also screens in the queue where Toadette speaks, something I did not know that character could do, and explains that you're trying to find the golden egg. You do so by finding 3 other eggs and also finding Captain Toad. I think you maybe link your findings to the power band if you have it, but admittedly I was not really writing this with the whole golden egg quest in mind. A good story can enhance a ride experience, especially a roller coaster or a major dark ride, but I think a scenic, slow omnimover like this doesn't really need much story. It's not super well executed, but the goal of finding the eggs is clearly articulated, so once you climb the stairs in the treehouse, you reach the loading platform, see some of Captain Toad's stuff, board a Yoshi, and begin the ride. The queue is a very pleasant start, setting the tone for the rest of the ride quite nicely. As for the ride itself, it is a slow, 5-minute journey around a section of the Nintendo world. Once you leave the station, there are 3 distinct areas you visit, each with one of the 3 eggs. You click a button on your lap bar as you see each egg, and while the scavenger hunt's easy, it is satisfying and fun. The 3 main areas are as follows: an outdoor one overlooking Nintendo World with simple sets and some fun moving figures of Mario enemies such as Conqueror, an indoor section with Kamek and Baby Mario to reference the game Yoshi's Island, and another outdoor section with both jungle and desert features where we see more Mario enemies, some Baby Yoshis, and Captain Toad. My favorite part of this ride is the sets and the Mario character figures. Like most of Nintendo World, they really do look straight out of the games. The Yoshi cars you're in look perfect. Certain enemies like Pokey are so much fun to watch, and most of the sets feel very grand and full of action, even though they are somewhat small. There are a lot of figures on the ride, and they all look fantastic. It reminds me of Monster Mansion at Six Flags Over Georgia, which has so many monster animatronics that really keep you engaged and looking all around. Admittedly, this is not the most immersive of Epic Universe rides. You can clearly see some of the mechanisms that move the characters, but that's mostly a very minor complaint. I will also note that the indoor section is probably my least favorite of the 3. Some will find it a relief from the heat, and I love seeing Poochie, but the main actions that are in this scene involve Kamek flying around, a major villain from the Mario games, but he's just kind of gone in the next scene. I know the ride is meant to be relaxing and aimless, so I don't need to put that much thought into his inclusion, but I think it would make more sense if the ride didn't feature a major villain and never went beyond some standard Mario enemies like Pokey. Still, the scenes all look nice, and like the queue, there's great music. Captain Toad's theme in the final scene is a personal favorite of mine, and I'm a big fan of its use here. I also appreciate how much of the last scene is hidden from the main path, so you do have to ride if you want to see Captain Toad. I think it's worth it just for that, especially if you're a Mario fan. After this, the ride ends. Overall, this is not the most impressive ride in the park. I find it a lot more impressive than some screen-based rides at Universal Studios, but it is a very standard slow-moving ride with a bunch of characters that only move a little. One could liken it to It's a Small World, though this definitely is much better art design and music than that one. It is a pretty simple, pleasant adventure through one of the best-looking areas in any US theme park. I have seen some complain about the existence of a slow-moving ride that's mostly outdoors in the Florida sun, but I don't really mind. Maybe I'm just used to the heat. But I was thinking about what was going on around me as opposed to the temperature, so I enjoyed the ride, no sweat. It's definitely a fun experience as a whole. To end this review, I will be giving the ride a number score out of 10. A 1 means it is among the absolute worst of Universal attractions, such as Fast and Furious Supercharged. A 10 means it is among the absolute best of Universal attractions, such as Velocicoaster's Spider-Man. Those scores are just my opinion, as is the score for Yoshi's Adventure. For Yoshi's Adventure's final score, I will give it a solid 6 out of 10. It doesn't have any mind-blowing moments, even compared to some of the things you can see just from the main path in Super Nintendo World, but it's a very enjoyable experience nonetheless. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please comment down below your thoughts on Yoshi's Adventure, any questions you might have, and stay tuned for the next Epic Universe review. Subscribe for more theme park videos. I'll see you next time.